Hello, guys. It's been a while. Yes, I know that. I had to take a break to attend to some other things that were calling for my attention in my life. Today, we're going to have just a cool chat, a chilled chat, and I'm going to talk about Saviour Complex. I know. You've never heard about it before, or you have, but you really do not understand the concept, right? The first time I heard about it was a few weeks ago when I was having a conversation with my youngest sister, and she said, are you aware that you do have a savior complex and you need to drop it? I felt bad immediately she said it, but then there was curiosity in me to actually find out what exactly it means. What does it mean, really? When I read about it, I actually realized that yes, it might be a syndrome, it might be a medical condition. However, it is also something that we have been wired to become as Africans majorly. It is something that we as African adults, or even the upcoming adults, have been wired from childhood. We've been wired, that way. And I would explain why I said so. So, what is savior complex to begin with? I mean, it is a state of mind in which an individual believes that they are responsible for saving or assisting others. They also believe that, if they don't assist these people, if they don't save these people, no one else would, right? Does that ring a bell? Does it sound like, oh my God, that's what plays out in my head every time someone calls out for help? Because that's what I do. When someone calls out for help, I'm always quick to be like, "Ah, I need to save this person. Am I able to save this person? What can I do to save this person?" Yeah. Um, wanting to help others is good for your health. It's really good, to be honest. Aside from being good for your health, as Christians, as Muslims, or whatever your religion is, we know that helping others is a mandate from God as well. You have to love your neighbor as yourself. So that's a basic thing, which is good, right? But when you begin to feel like you have to do it, and then you put aside your own well-being to do it, then that's problematic. Then that's definitely problematic. But then, how many of us are actually helping others out of the largesse, out of much that we have? Majority of us are actually helping out of the little that we have and sharing that little with others. So it is not how do I put it? It is not it is problematic because we are putting aside our own well-being, sacrificing so much to assist others, to help others around us. And it is known as a Messiah complex, it's known as Savior complex or White Knight complex, right? Amongst us, there are saviors, right? There are people who are very, sometimes, even too empathetic to others. They want to help everyone in any situation, which is beautiful. There are people who will give everything for others, even if it means forgetting about themselves. We call this savior syndrome. It's called savior syndrome, really. Uh, and there are several explanations for this. So now I am talking medically before I go to the African part of it, right? Okay, so there are several explanations for the syndrome. I'm not a medical doctor. So these things are things that I researched. I had to read up on when my sister actually told me that you have this. And immediately she told me, to be honest, I turned to my husband and I asked him, do you think that I have this? And he said, yes, you do. Then after reading about it, it felt like I was reading about myself. And it also felt like I was reading about millions, of Africans. I was reading about so many other people around me, right? So there are several explanations for it. It might be that, as children, you experience trauma, you experience abandonment. Yeah, it actually, drives you into the savior complex because you'd want to help the next person so that they don't go through the same trauma, through the same abandonment that you went through, right? So also as kids who had to take on the role of parents to their siblings at a very early age, you would have that issue. You definitely, I mean, would have a savior complex because you were young and you had to look out for your siblings as well as look out for yourself, and sometimes even forgetting about yourself to take care of your siblings at a very early age. There are also people who feel the need who have the need to feel valued and to feel loved and to exist for others. That is the extreme one, right, for me, because their self-esteem, their ego is usually very low, right? And helping others allow them to improve their ego. So that's definitely not what I have, but it's one of the definitions, to be honest. So, but there are many ways to begin, overcoming, this internalized need to save others. There's so many ways to overcome it. But before we go there, I'm going to paint a scenario. Someone spoke to me, I think a week or two ago, and he was telling me that, you really need to talk about this. He didn't know that I had it in mind, but he came to me and said, especially for people who are in the diaspora, who have left family back home. And sometimes you left your spouse, sometimes you left your kids, sometimes you even left just extended family, and your own immediate family is right here with you. But still, you realize that, you make money, you're working so hard, but your life here is not reflecting the how much you work. You know why? Because the bulk of this money is going back home. The bulk of this money is going back to people who are going to spend it lavishly for the most part, right? For example, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was looking at this at the sunglasses, and I was like, "Oh my god, I really need to buy this." And my sister was like, "Oh, it's expensive." Then I said, well, this money, if someone sends me a message right now and says, Blessing, I have a problem, I need to XYZ amount, this is money that I would be able to give the person, right? So why not spend it on myself? Why not splurge on myself, right? I'm the one working, right? But you see, I didn't buy it because the mentality is there. You tend to take care of others and neglect yourself. You tend to take care of others and forget about yourself. We tend to, the person gave me an example of someone who has kids and wife at home, and of course parents and whatnot, and he's here and currently, I don't know whether he's out of the hospital, but he was at the hospital. He had brain surgery and all of that stuff. And guess why? It was because he was overworked, completely overworked, from one job to another job to another job to another job, no rest, no break, no pause. And why is that? Because the bulk of the money he's going to get, he's sending it back home. Because the people back home, they want to have parties, they want to celebrate their birthday, or all of those things that you can't afford to do. And if you continue to jump in, to give in to every of their demand, to jump in and not resist the urge to help and save everyone, and doing it at the detriment of yourself, then there's a problem there. So now we go back to how can we overcome it, right? You should remember that it is possible to be a support system. Very possible. It's possible to be a support system without stepping in to be the white knight. Yes, it's very possible. It's possible that you tell the person, I'm sorry, I really do not have what it takes to help you, but I can talk you through this. I can advise you on what you need to do. You can be there for the person, continue to follow up. Yes, it's also possible. It takes a great deal of intentionality, to be honest, and self-discipline. And I'm working on it as well. It's a gradual process. But I thought, while I am healing from this, I should be able to, tell others, make them aware, look inwards and begin to see, does this really speak to you? And see what you can do about it, right? So it takes a great deal of intentionality, like I said, and self-discipline to allow others to process their own pain, process their own problems, process their struggles without trying to take it all away from them. Right? Yeah. You should also recognize small ways to lovingly step back. Right? You step back and help others to help themselves. Otherwise, they're going to be completely dependent on you, right? Help them, help others to help themselves. It would allow you to overcome this Saviour complex. And you can also tolerate others taking responsibilities for their actions and endure the consequences of their choices. It's their choice. You have to let them endure the consequences of their choices. Support when you can. Let go of the results. Don't dwell on it.